met a young Chinese girl. Her name was Hua Hing. If there's such a thing as there's one person on this earth to be your soulmate, that certainly was the situation also. My wife and I, in 37 years, I don't think suffered one moment of jealousy about each other. We had a stillborn child first, and it was several years afterwards before my wife wanted to have another child. So we had Deborah, and she was a lovely young daughter, and I was so proud of her. And 7 years later, we had a son, Damon, and both of them grew up to be great human beings. Unfortunately, my daughter had somewhat of an issue with alcohol, and it led to her having a head-on accident, which was her fault, where she perished, and 2 people in the other vehicle perished also. And then, unfortunately, my wife passed away. I never went back to work. I became a full-blown alcoholic. That was the only thing in my life. I didn't socialize. I sat in the corner of my house if I wasn't falling down and breaking things. I came close to passing away from the alcohol. They had to defibrillate me back to life. And I woke up in intensive care. 2 days later, my son was standing next to me, a grown man crying, tears running down his face, and begged me, please don't do this anymore. I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. I had no money in the bank. I had no prospects on where to live. I started looking around at possibly rentals, but obviously the cost was prohibitive. And I would see somebody standing on the corner with a piece of cardboard saying, please help me, I'm desperate, or whatever. I saw myself standing there, and it scared me to death. I hope you understand the horror that I'm trying to transmit to having a life that, let's say, we might call it normal. But then everything fell apart. It's gone. Instead of being on the beach in Kauai, I'm in a nursing home wondering, where am I going to sleep? I have a hard time crying now, but when I found out that I was accepted, I spent quite a bit of time crying, because that's how much it really meant to me to have a place to live. Sometimes us as older people are a little hard to deal with, but the patience that you've all shown to me is amazing. You know, I just don't know what else to say. I don't want to get religious on anybody, but I just believe it's a real blessing that I've received from God to be able to have this apartment. The blessing goes also that there is such an organization as MidPen that's interested in helping some of us that, you know, later life hasn't treated as well as we had expected it to.
The really big value of the after-school program for the kids, not just for my kids, for other kids. And as I stay-home mom, I can sometimes help and see what my kids, how they learn, to help them. But they love it. They come here, they read, they do all the activities, they do brain challenge, and they interact with other kids. And then the group what they have here, from little kids to older kids. So even my older kids try to learn something what the older kids learn at school. She's in second grade, but she tried to do fourth grader stuff, and she want to do stuff. And I like that. It's really, really helpful for other parents who, cannot afford to pay somewhere to go educate your kids after school, or they working and they have to have the kids to put in a program or daycare or nanny, but they can have after school program so they can, not just playing around sitting, but do some activities, do learning, do a lot of stuff. Like they're always asking, Mommy, maybe we can have some day home. And we're always like, yes, we will try our best to do it. My husband work a lot of hours to, so we can think about it, not just have it, but think about it, because it's really hard in the Bay Area to afford a house. I think this time it's not really possible for other families who's just one parent working or just one parent. But, it's really good opportunity if you live here and you under budget, you paying, and you can save at least something. It's really nice that the Peninsula Station doing all the program, financial and different programs for the residents here, and how you can save and put it aside little bit by little bit, $2, $1 aside, and this is really good program for a lot of people here. I would say thank you for all the employees at MidPen Housing for providing good living, clean living, and this is a really good job you're doing, and keep it up with the good job.
And we went to a shelter. We stayed in that shelter for 4 months, and in that place I hear about Delaware Pacific, and the person that was in charge of my case helped me to fill the application. I lived in San Jose for about another 4 months, waiting and waiting and waiting. And when I got my coach manager call and told me, you got it. The whole family was crying and singing and enjoying and celebrating. It was a miracle for us. Everything was perfect. They had a sofa and a table and bed. It was amazing. It was like a dream. Stephanie is my second daughter. She is in mental health since she had 14, and she wasn't able to talk. When we went to the shelter, everything was worse with her. She stayed at home. She stopped going to school. She was in depression and anxiety. When we moved to Delaware, Stephanie was very tired of therapy. She didn't want to take more medication. She just wanted to die. And one day, Julie came to my house, and she see how bad was Stephanie's life. And she started talking to Stephanie, helping her, helping us. Now, Stephanie is go back to college. She's another person. If we don't move to Delaware Pacific, maybe Stephanie killed herself, because that's she wanted to do. Nobody likes to see her daughter, young daughter, living like my daughter was. It was like she was in the bubble, and I wasn't able to take her out. Now we have long conversations. We talk about future. We talk about our dreams. You cannot imagine how this place changed our life. It's the best thing that it happened to us.
Again, all of you, from Mr. Matthew all the way to Mr. Quincy, who was our maintenance man, you can tell that they're here to be of help. And you can tell that they care about us. Even though sometimes we're a big pain in the ass, they do care about us a lot.
You are making the difference for a lot of people.
I think the big pain in the ass would be a great closer, you know.